Some Manchester councils raised concern about surveillance of the parties following 4-hour shootout in the parish. Some councils in Manchester have raised concern over what they say is the country's inadequate surveillance of deportees who commit serious crimes abroad. This follows Tuesday's 4-hour gun battle between the security forces and 54-year-old Dave Wilson, otherwise called Brown Man, who was fatally wounded during the incident on Caledonia Road, Mandeville. Before he met his demise, Wilson reportedly shot and killed 31-year-old Adrian Bernard following a disagreement over the cost of egg. It's reported that Wilson was deported at least twice from Canada and served prison time in Canada for armed robberies. During the monthly meeting of the Manchester Municipal Corporation, some councillors questioned whether the police were keeping tabs on Wilson. Belfield Councillor Murray Mitchell said the situation is alarming. Mandeville Mayor Donovan Mitchell said the shootout could have had a far worse ending. In response, Inspector Lloyd of the Manchester Community Safety and Security Branch said she would share the concerns with Commanding Officer Senior Superintendent Kerry Duncan.
745 2.2856 rounds were found, with the person who was there occupying the police for about 4 to 5 hours. I think those are what the military used to use in a gun that's called the SLR, and those are even banned by the military and the government. So that's one concern. 3 rifles, guns may be there, and he was deported 3 times already. Somebody like that should have been on the radar. Somebody like that should have been under a microscope. So there's the question again when I asked about when Donald Trump was re-elected. I asked the question in his very council about those persons who are coming in by deportation and how we monitoring them. And I'm going to ask the question, it may be bigger than my good friend Inspector Lloyd, but I'm asking from a standpoint where it needs to go to a higher place. We need to have some monitorization of these persons.
There are a number of deportees that come to this country on a regular basis. I thought there was a unit within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, or a section that will be monitoring deportees. They come and you watch their movements and all of that. And so it would be easy for the communities or the country to know what these were charged for, what are they here for, you monitor them, because for that type of situation that happens on Caledonia Road, you can imagine if it was a day when, because the hard school is somewhere down there, when school was in session or anything, or it was a busy day and all of that, what could have happened in the day. And so I think if we don't have it, or if we have it, it has to be monitoring more and more, because more deportees are coming back to Jamaica than normal. And so we need to look at what is happening and how is it that we are going to carve out something so at least the citizens know.
Regarding the monitoring of the deportee, I think something will have to be done. So I will take the concerns to the superintendent so that they can have things in place to treat with it. The Jamaica Eye, Mandeville is on the system. Things are in place for Christian and Paulines to be on.
JLP slams PNP over election irregularities comment, urges them to provide evidence or shut up. The Jamaica Labour Party JLP has issued a firm rebuttal to allegations made by the People's National Party following the recent September 3rd general election, accusing the opposition of casting baseless things on the electoral process while refusing to confront their own shortcomings at the polls. Speaking at a post-election press conference at the JLP's Belmont Road headquarters on Thursday, party representatives including Dr. Christopher Tufton, Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Communications Task Force member Rebecca Fitzheadley addressed the recent comment from the PNP, which has called for an independent review of the Electoral Office of Jamaica and raised concern about voter suppression and alleged vote buying. "You cannot go out there and say wolf wolf and have no evidence," said Dr. Tufton. "No, I am not going to swear for thousands and thousands of people who have been involved in the electoral process. What I will say is from a policy perspective, as a political organization, the Jamaica Labour Party as a policy does not support vote buying. We have not given any instructions for vote buying to take place. Tufton stressed that the JLP has campaigned on its policies, achievements, and leadership. A responsible political organization cannot just go out there and start to spew allegations, particularly in the context that they have lost, as a means of trying to legitimize their loss, because that seems to be what is going on. We are not going to subscribe to that. It is not our policy so to do, and if the PNP thinks that it is not the case, they should provide the evidence. Otherwise, they should shut up, and I say so with as diplomatically as possible, and focus on being an opposition, he argued. Meanwhile, Johnson Smith criticized the PNP for insinuating that the election outcome was compromised, despite having accepted defeat on September 3rd, and pointed out that no magisterial recount was requested. She accused the party of not engaging in political mischief, particularly with renewed interest in the constituency of St. Andrew West Central, held by Prime Minister-elect Dr. Holness. The party framed the position taken by the PNP in respect of St. Andrew West Central to be as baseless, to be facialist, and to be yet another indicator of desperation and an unwillingness to face the results and enter into introspection, stated Johnson Smith. She also claimed that the PNP president, Mark Golding, had been touring constituencies other than his own on election day, which is inconsistent with provision of the Representation of the People's Act. She says the party will further address the matter at a later date. The final count of votes, which concluded on Sunday, showed the JLP winning 35 seats to the PNP 28. Morgan requests police investigation of alleged intimidation of workers on highway project. Minister with Responsibility for Works Robert Nesta Morgan says he has written to the Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake requesting an urgent investigation into alleged threats made against workers and China Harbour Engineering Company staff involved in the execution of the South Coast Highway Improvement Project in St. Thomas. In a media release on Thursday, Morgan said he has confirmed the reports that individuals sought to unlawfully impose themselves on the project by claiming authority to take over construction activities, appoint liaison officers, and even dictate changes to the security arrangements on site. He said there were also troubling reports of individuals storming the Hardy compound demanding employment outside of the official project structure. Morgan declared that such conduct is unacceptable and would not be tolerated under any circumstances. No one can be allowed to hijack national projects, intimidate contractors, or substitute political muscle for lawful governance, he stated, adding that threatening workers and international contractors who are here to help build Jamaica is a line that cannot be crossed. Morgan said all efforts will be made to keep the workers on track in St. Thomas and across the island with strict adherence to order, fairness, and the rule of law. Our infrastructure program is about building roads, bridges, and opportunities for all Jamaicans. These projects are governed by the laws of Jamaica, financed by taxpayers, and executed through formal contractual agreements. No private individual, no political operative has the authority to interfere. The government of Jamaica alone has that mandate on behalf of the people of Jamaica, he declared. Strait in Morant Bay to be renamed in honor of Tony Singh. The St. Thomas Municipal Corporation has passed a resolution to rename the St. George's Street in Morant Bay in honor of former Mr. Tony Singh, who was born and raised in the parish. The motion was moved during the corporation's monthly meeting on Thursday by Mayor Morant Bay, Councillor Louis Chen, who praised him for outstanding representation of the St. Thomas on the global stage. Singh, a native of Bath, made history in 2019 when she became the fourth Jamaican woman to win the Miss World title. She also became the longest reigning Miss World in the pageant's history. Miss Singh is a proud daughter of the parish of St. Thomas, acting chief executive officer of the corporation, Essen stated. A widely known landmark at St. George's Street is the Jamaica National Bank in Morant Bay. The resolution will now be submitted to the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development for gazetting. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.